never heard that, but that's the origin of CAP. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now.
It's incredible.
I love it. Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
All right, welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast here in Richmond, Virginia. We want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. Up first is the Seed Institute. Seed Institute. If you have any questions about trying to get some trainings, they specialize in trainings, and they also help individuals start their own LLCs. They specialize in startup businesses. They are minority owned as well. So reach out to them, 804-939-0541. And then next up, we have the Farley Center. That was my angel on my shoulder there. We have the Farley Center. They are a treatment center located in Williamsburg, Virginia. If you have any loved ones or anyone that needs some services for substance use disorder and or mental health, give them a call. They have a detox and they take commercial insurances. 804-638-7329. Kelly Eason is the name of their coordinator. Give them a call. The Farley Center. Thank you, Farley Center, for that sponsorship. And then up next, we have Rooted Hair Studios. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia. If you give them a call and mention McShin, you'll get 10% off your next hairdo. So go on, get your hair done. Rooted Hair Studio, 804-919-3851. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia, and they are locally owned as well. So they're not a whatever commercial brand studio. They're locally owned. So give them a call. 804-919-3851. Mention code McShin, get 10% off. And then we have one last sponsor who wanted to remain anonymous. So we do want to shout them out for that sponsorship. They sponsored the podcast. So I don't have anything to sponsor. I don't have anything to say for
my
them.
lunch today.
Yes, but we do want to shout them out and say, thank you for that. And we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of our sponsors. And with that, we're going to get into our next episode. Awesome dude named Ron. He's from Tidewater area. He comes up here sometimes. But he said he got to a point where his story started to give him hope. And I was like, man, how the hell does your own story give you hope? And it's like what you're talking about when you start like looking back on like, damn, when you're talking like, oh man, I was there. I did that to myself. I did, and then like you see where you're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that page in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And one of the stories in the back and there's someone's like, he's talking about how he went up and grabbed his first white chip ever. And there was someone picking up a 30-year chip. And the guy with the 30-year chip said, I would trade my chip, the 30-year, for yours. For that way. And he was like, why would you do that? And he goes, because it's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Yeah.
So I've started journaling myself like the last couple weeks. And, it started off as like a timeline. Like I went to work at this time. We had stand up. Jesse told us we all need to do this. So, I did this, make sure I followed the rules, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, well, why am I even journaling this stuff? Like really? So I stepped back a little bit and I'm like, okay, well, what did I get out of my day? What am I grateful for? What are the thoughts that I have today that are so different to the ones that I used to have? And so it's like, so that if I'm reading this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is where the headspace I was in earlier recovery.
Is there a difference between journal and diary?
No, I think it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, not to play devil's advocate here.
Is there a difference?
And no. I'm going back to what you said about the guy with the 20 years and saying that his story has given him more hope and everything. And by sharing it, it's given him more hope. And now I heard an opposite opinion on this. Like somebody was asked to share and they say, normally they say no, but they were coming to honor. But also, have you ever heard this? You can share yourself right out of the rooms. Have you ever heard that statement before?
Yeah. What does it got to do with this though?
Well, because can't the opposite effect happen from sharing your story all the time? Like if you're getting hope from sharing your story all the time, can you also share yourself out of the rooms?
Yeah. So when this person was speaking, I don't think they were talking about the act of sharing their story, what they were talking about is that just looking back over their story gives them hope now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, they weren't necessarily saying, sharing my story gives me hope. It was more of like
A reflection.
yeah, he's like, man, I got to the point in my life where my own story gives me hope now. And like I was new in the recovery, and I'm coming up on 12 years now. I understand that. Like, and I also understand, what Olav saying. Olav says he likes to share a story, like he likes to give, and that's good,
Because
man.
it's never the same story I ever tell.
And you're good too. Like you're good. So people have gifts, right? And you have a gift, like you're able to articulate, you're able to speak. You and Travis both, y'all have that gift, and that gift of being able to articulate, speak, the gift of reaching somebody new, right? So sometimes when you talk about sharing yourself out of the rooms, Trav, some people that are here a while, they lose that gift of connecting to the new person. And that's something you don't want to lose. You want to be able to keep that, because that's what, so I mean, that's
Oh yeah, that
that's
makes sense, because
the-
that would go back to remembering just like where you came from. I can see where it could give like a person like a lot of hope to remember where they were and to
Yeah.
see where they're at, the juxtaposition of it. So like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I was spent like my I think it was my last Christmas before I got clean. Remember,
I
shared
remember
about
it.
that, man. Like that's
Yeah.
when I look back over my life, I'm like, damn, man, how and where I'm at now. So I get that now. I didn't get it then, right now, but I get it now. I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful for like those epiphanies, those awakenings.
Yeah. To
that
see
type of
where you
stuff.
were
Yeah.
in the mind space. We should be recording this to see
It
where
is-
you were.
He is recording it.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
so we'll record this too, though. You already got an intro recorded, but you got one.
No, I didn't even know we were
I
recording.
got the
bro.
commercial recorded.
You got the commercial
That's the
recorded. Well,
best
we'll do our
guy.
intro though.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool, because I didn't even know we were on the
yeah,
conversation.
just doing it. He recorded the whole thing earlier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good, because
it was live.
just everybody out there to know that the opinions held by the host are not that of the fiction.
Yeah, so of all three. Right?
I only
Yeah.
posted it on Facebook, so nobody.
But anyways, look, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the McShin Foundation's Getting Her podcast. You got your favorite Martian over there, and me and Olaf, we're more like the astronauts.
Yeah, y'all are definitely on there. Like, if this was the
You're
movie
more-
Alien, you'd be Sigourney Weaver. And,
Whoa.
or Olaf, he's got the hair. Well, she was the baddest one on the whole
She
thing.
wasn't bad.
I
She
could be
wasn't
like
bad.
Elon Musk, maybe,
Elon
You
Musk isn't on
kinda
my
do
ship.
because
Look like Elon Musk, but
he's
a
going to
little-
be an alien. Maybe
Yeah.
soon.
He's
He probably
he's a little
already
on the
is.
weird side though, isn't
Yeah.
He is weird, but I just mean that his whole like idea of we're all going to be going to the Mars and
Why would we go there? There's not one tree on there. Why is that planet so appealing to
he?
everybody?
Is he the one that made that spaceship that travels? He's the
Mhm.
one that made that thing
yeah,
that all the
SpaceX is called.
yeah, he's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, SpaceX.
It's like $1 trillion business.
Well,
yeah,
Gosh, I think
of fantasy actually,
I think
because
it's
nobody
all-
can get out of the firmament.
Yeah, well, it's going to take like 6 or 8 years just to get to Mars. So who really wants to sign up for that trip?
Just very, very,
You're
very,
not coming back. That's 16
Yeah,
years
there's
of
no
your
coming
life.
back from that.
very,
Yeah.
just real quickly. Yeah, who wants to go there anyway? The red planet, but
to
yeah.
Mars. Well, I
don't-
think the thought process. What's that movie? I didn't mean to interrupt you, Trav. What's that movie about?
Total Recall?
The
Yeah,
Martian.
Total Recall.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
Total Recall.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
my-
that there could be atmosphere or planet deep in the core of the planet.
wasn't that Mars they were on?
Yeah,
Total Recall?
that was
Yeah.
Mars. Yeah, and
a great
and come to
movie.
find out, like Martians had been there way before my ancestors, and like pushed, made a machine to melt the water inside the planet. Like there is
That was
actual
what Mars was
water.
about?
Mac.
That's what Total Recall was
Yeah,
about.
yeah. And
I
the
missed
guy
whole- I just thought it was-
Cohagen or whatever.
Arnold.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
To the
This was-
chopper.
I thought Arnold got tricked by a girl or something. And
Well, I mean that's part of it,
That's
but I'm
part of it.
talking about the bigger
That's the
plot
Hollywood
picture of
part.
it. Yeah. Like you gotta get past the aliens and the theatrics to get the underlying core of it. But very quickly, I got just something funny to tell y'all. Somebody like a little kid was watching the podcast or whatever like that, and they were like, and they seen a glimpse of me bringing a milkshake, and they were like,
bringing a milkshake.
yeah,
Where?
they brought me a milkshake, and they said,
Who brought you a
like,
milkshake?
it's
to
none of
your
your business.
car?
I'm about to tell you. Yeah. And so like
what podcast was this one?
they were watching this podcast. They didn't bring me a milkshake, but when they brought me a milkshake, they became aware of me and they were like, oh,
They saw your face.
yeah,
The beautiful
there it
hair.
is.
They thought
tan
because,
skin.
No, what they thought. This is. No, I'm going to finish this statement.
Finish
for
it.
them. They thought because they see him on a YouTube video that he's famous.
Well, what does YouTube? What does YouTube come on?
National television.
It comes on television. And so, like, shout out to Amaya. I said I was going to give her a special shout out. Maya, special shout out to you. Thank you for the milkshake. You're an awesome kid. All right, continue on. You don't know how many points that just got me.
You said it was going to be funny.
Yeah.
Where
I didn't say it was going to be funny. I just
way-
said I want to give a shout out.
It's way too early.
I can give a shout out if I want. Shout out to Maya.
What's
up,
happening
Maya?
right now is like way too early in the relationship. I just want you to know.
I'm just
that.
giving a shout out.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
saying.
that-
It's just way
You
too
don't even
early
know
in the
what.
relationship.
There's more than one Maya, bro.
I
don't
got a
even know
daughter-
why you gotta
I got a
bring-
daughter named Maya. And I know
Shout out
she-
to Amaya,
I
Jesse's
know-
daughter. Is
I
it way
know-
too early in our relationship to give
I
your kid
know,
a shout
I
out?
know she didn't bring you no milkshake. I know that much.
But she thinks I'm famous.
I know
Anyways.
when me and my wife met, I got a lot of kids, but I had owned my oldest ones are for the they I would say I haven't raised them for the most part. They've been in my life, but I didn't raise them. So when me and Kelly met, I'm raising Camden and Cadence. Like they're I've had them since they were little ones, and that we're in the house together, and me and Kelly meet and we start dating. She hears I got kids and this and that, and so like her sponsor gave her this suggestion, was like, y'all need to do a 90 and 90. And so she told me this. She's like, we got to do a 90 and 90. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll do a 90 and 90. I'm all for it. So I thought, right?
Surprise.
I thought she was talking about like do 90 and 90 meetings, because
Creative
I like
suggestions.
going to meetings. And so the 90 and 90 she was talking about, I was like, go 90 days without meeting my kids. Right. She was like, why? She was like, my sponsor said I should go 90 days before I meet your kids. Right. And I understand it now. Right. This is an early relationship for you. And y'all didn't practice that, but like,
Yeah, we did. We waited. We
we
waited 60.
Stop.
60.
Stop.
60 before
Stop.
the official hello.
Stop.
60.
Yeah. So
It's so hard to be honest around.
I know.
What I'm doing. Did you follow the suggestions?
Yes, I did. She was pretty much dead set on following it. I don't, to be completely, I don't know if we made it. Wait, let me see.
There wasn't a hello, a handshake.
No.
That's Kelly in the car. Nothing. Total blackout.
I don't-
That's what you're
I
saying.
don't think we made it all the way to the 90 days.
Okay, here
Yeah.
it comes.
Yeah, I think it might have broke before the 90 days, and it wasn't her though. It definitely wasn't her. It was me, and it was more me, right? And so, like, you're the other person, right? Because it's when we talk about you, your significant other has a kid, that's being introduced to you. So, you're like in Kelly's shoes. Kelly didn't want to cross that line because she was, she didn't want to, what was being given her was like, you need to be careful. Like, you're just new in this relationship, and all of a sudden you're going to get introduced to kids, and they're going to get close to you, and you're going to get close to them. Like me, my mindset was like, they're me. Like they're me. So like
They're extensions of
yeah,
yourself.
either you accept them now or
Or you
don't,
don't.
right? But like I'm grateful that she had that suggestion, because it's true. A lot of people that have kids are quick they meet somebody, especially early in recovery, right? We're talking like all of us are in recovery, and people early in recovery, a lot of people have kids and they got broken relationships. And so like when you get clean, you have a void, and you fill that void with
God.
Something.
that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to fill it with God, but we fill it with something, right?
Recovery.
Relationship, right? So we fill it.
Can't relationships be a byproduct
we
of
feel
just like having a fulfilling life? It's an addition. Does it have to be the filling of the whole all the time?
It doesn't, but that's what we do.
Metaphorically.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It doesn't, but we do that, right? And what happens is we do it, and we put up this, this facade, this front of who we are, right? And the real self, the real, I'm talking real self. And when you're early in recovery, when you're early, 9 months, 10 months, a year removed from substances, you're still figuring out who you are. I know I was like, shit, man. I think I've shared this with you. With it might have been when we all were on here before. How like 2 years clean, I bent down to tie my shoe and just started crying, right? Because of these wave of emotions, I still was trying to figure out what I was feeling. So like when you're early in recovery, you don't, you have you're early, right? And then you get in a relationship, and you're early in a relationship, y'all really don't know each other, right? And so that was the fear, I think, that was being given to Kelly in our early relationship was like, you're still getting to know this guy. You better be careful getting to know the kids. In my mind, I was like, no, man, these are an extension of me. They're mine. You got to get to know them, but I'm grateful she practiced that because, I had got good at this when I got clean, Trav and Olaf, as in like my kids didn't see any of the women that I dated. My first 5 years, 6 years, they only met like I think maybe one of the women because I dated.
Women's.
Yeah, well,
Did you? How many
bad
did you
word.
date? How many was there?
There was a lot of meaningless encounters that I had. Meaningless encounters.
Filling the voids.
Yeah, filling the voids. And there was some times where like I thought it was the one,
Oh,
right?
yeah?
And I quickly realized it wasn't the one. And so I'm grateful for that piece. And if I would to give, you any suggestion, anybody that gets new in a relationship and there's kids involved, try to practice that suggestion, right? So quick to shout them out, Maya. Thanks for giving me the milkshake.
Can I ask you a question? Why would you mess my shout out like that?
I'm sorry.
This
It
is something for
was
the
a heartfelt.
kids.
It was a heartfelt.
It's for the kids, bro.
The kids listen to this,
And you're gonna destroy the shout out.
kids
Yeah, she's
listen to
waiting for her shout out, bro.
I think that we might.
Now you
need to
give
be-
Maya a shout out, like a real one. Shout out Maya for being a faithful watcher of the podcast.
Hey Maya, how's it going?
That's how you know. So look, that's how we know we're doing bad when we got kids subscribing to it.
We need everyone we can get.
Every subscriber,
Every single one
Every view
helps.
Anyways, I was on a rant, man.
It's
I'm
valid
happy.
though. It's
I'm
valid
happy,
because
yeah.
it's caution, and caution is best practice in these things because like as we've spoke about on this podcast many times, like a relationship can be a derailment of your recovery quickly. Particularly if you put all your focus on this and don't like prioritize, and like
Yeah.
the way I try to do it, God first, recovery, and then everything after. And so
God,
like
recovery, self. I like that.
Yeah, so I try to keep those because like having priorities is one thing, but if you have them all mixed up and out of order, then you could be in trouble. So like I always try to, even in my imperfections, and even if I might jump out there too early, because I mean, it's going to be natural to want a relationship or even to want a connection. And I don't necessarily think that it has to be filling a void if you have those priorities in order. Now, look, I know that I'm early on and I realize that, and just being cognitive of that is like advantage in my point. So like, if things seem, always keep God first, then your recovery, and God and recovery, in my opinion, is like one and the same. And and then everything after that, even if it's like family, kids, anything.
Have you had to ask you a question about that? Have you had to like check yourself since you've been there? Because I think you're good. Like you're talking about the void piece, and I think you were telling me like it with this relationship that you're in, it got it's good. Still, everything's good. Like everything's golden with it. So if anybody's listening, but like you had to check yourself. Like, oh man, I need to make sure I got my priorities straight.
Yeah, well,
my sponsor, whatever, that
well,
type-
you know what I did? I didn't, because I checked myself with my sponsor immediately to make sure, because what happened was like I had excited feelings. Like I was like, whoa, this is like good energy. So I wanted to check, just to check myself to make sure that I wasn't like, going off the radar here. And like, of course, it's going to be natural to be excited about something, because one thing I wasn't looking for since I've been here is a relationship. Like, in fact, like I avoided it, and I didn't feel any particular attraction, or I didn't feel the need to fill that void with somebody. Like I was more like about the process was fine with me. Like I wanted God to deal with me. So like I wasn't really distracted with females. Like being honest, when I first got here, like I see this a lot, and I'm not telling anybody stories here, but like when they get clean, like their feelings come back, and a lot of times that's physical feelings. Like I just had the advantage this time of not going through that. Like it wasn't like I was sitting in jail, like I can't wait till I get out to like knock somebody off. Like I was more like focused on my like whatever recovery looked like. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, or like even like God did so much of the work for me, almost like putting a sponsor right in my lap. You know what I mean? Almost like showing me the pathway to go for self-inflection. And he took the desire to use for me. That's my story. So like the addition of like a healthy company was good, even in her imperfections and my imperfections. That's fine, because there's like something that I realized, and this might just be an advantage. I don't know if this was true for you, but I knew there had to be boundaries. Like there has to be my thing. I have my recovery, and then there has to be their thing, and whatever that looks like is fine. And so like I've had that advantage. So no, like actually like making a person my higher power, I know who my higher power is. And my recovery, I know the things that are working to reveal my character defects and my behavioral defects. And trust me, like if you only got one, you're lucky. I have many. So like they get revealed and dealt with and worked with through my pathway. So yeah, I'm very cognizant of that, and then I'm careful too. Like, am I spending too much time on this? Am I letting this go to this? So like the boundary setting has almost came naturally because of just like it's early. Like it's not like I'm trying to well, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm just kind of going with the flow, but I am setting the proper boundaries.
Well, I know one thing.
As true for
Yeah.
this person we're talking about.
I know one thing you're doing is giving shout outs to.
Well, I mean, a shout out is a
Olaf,
shout out.
but
Look,
let me
we give
let's-
shout outs all the time.
Let's ask Olaf, because Olaf, are you single?
Yeah.
In recovery?
Yeah.
So what did you kind of just
I'm in a relationship with myself,
Did you wait a year?
You're going through a lot of
That's
lotion.
right.
Well, and I think
Why we record this? Yeah, that's right.
I guess that's why the year I think that they usually give as the benchmark why people should wait is because, like, I don't know, you could probably say 13 years, 12 years. How many years do you have, Jesse?
12.
12. You're still discovering who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like if you're trying to discover yourself and it's even just at a year mark, like I don't know for me personally if I would be able to know who I am if there was someone else's needs that I'm putting before, or it not maybe before me, but at the same level as mine, or maybe just a little bit below. If it's so it's like I'm happy just being single.
That's you saying I'm still discovering myself. But sometimes I'll be at home, and something will happen with my kids or my wife or whatever, and like I'll get to think like, damn, like I don't like that, and like I've been like this all my life, not liking something or liking something, but like I compromised like that with other relationships, right? Somebody, I don't know, just random example, a girl might, oh man, this girl's looks really really good, like she's beautiful, right? But she gets on my nerves. She's terrible attitude, whatever, bougie, something I don't like, but I would compromise that over other things, right? And I've done that all my life because I still didn't really know, like,
you weren't as authentic.
Yeah, and to what I liked, what I wanted, and still was learning, like, who I am. So I definitely with you on that. So Olaf, I'm just, so you're single, I don't want to put none of your I guess you're dating. You're just kind of doing whatever.
It's an open book.
You're dating, you're doing whatever. You remind me of a lot. So in the beginning for me, I remember I struggled with this area because like I wanted to fill the void, and I prayed and I had a relationship with God, but I still had wanted a relationship with a woman. I still wanted the whatever you want to call it, the touch,
the
I wanted
companionship.
Sure. I remember talking to my sponsor about this because like it was an area that I struggled in. And anybody out there listening to this, new in recovery, or you're sitting in jail, prison, or in the recovery world, pretty sure you probably struggle with this too. Like, and you're longing for, so we'll juice it up and say we're longing for a relationship. Sometimes we're looking for instant gratification, right?
There's a differentiation here. What we're looking for.
Yeah. My sponsor gave me a very good advice. He said, Jess, no matter what you do, just be honest.
There,
right?
It is.
Just be honest. So, like, if you're just looking for instant gratification,
let them know.
Practice being honest about it. And that was a new thing to me because I would always sell like a relationship to somebody.
It's like you would try to get them to like you so much.
I would be like, I would sell it as
make them like you.
Yeah, well, I would sell a relationship as in like I would say things that I didn't really mean. Like, man, I love you and I like being around you and I love spending time with you. And none of it was true. I just was looking for one. And that's the stuff that hurt me, right? Because ultimately the most important person we harm is ourselves, right? We do stuff like that. So like when he gave me that, I learned, okay. And this is what he told me, the caveat with, he's like, practice being honest. He's like, and you might get the answer that you didn't think, the answer might be, oh, that's all.
It might be mutual. Yeah.
And then your feelings.
You didn't have to go down that whole road of creating unmanageable situations.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Jesse. How long does it take to fall in love?
It's a great question.
It really is. I don't think there's and I've asked myself this, like, throughout my lifetime of being the past 12 years, right? And these are questions. I'm funny you're asking that, right? Because the stuff that I asked too, right? And like I don't think love is a constant thing you work at, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's no time frame. You can fall in love. Like, I can eat a good cheese pizza from an Italian restaurant and I'm like in love with that cheese pizza,
Mhm.
right? And I can fall in love with something that Kelly does on a daily basis with me, right? She texted me this morning and it was a picture of me with the ring on and she was like, it's nothing sexier than you wearing that ring, right? And I was like, oh man, I just fell in love with her again, right? Because she's just saying
That's like a reinforcement of the love that was
Yeah.
already there. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the basic bam.
yeah,
I think I love this one.
yeah. So I
I
again,
feel
there's
the
no,
love. How
there's
long?
yeah,
Give me a time frame
there's
now.
there's no
You're ducking the question.
there's no time frame. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no time frame. Like I mean, you come into narcotics. You come into 12-step NAAA, and
Spiritual pathway.
what's the first thing that people tell you?
Shut up.
No. Look, listen. See, it's good. So when you go to a 12-step meeting, have you ever met anybody who you don't know at all, never even met them, and they say, "Man, I love you." And if nobody else has told you today, I love you.
Oh
Right? You
yeah.
ever heard any of that stuff?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, what the hell? He's full of crap, right? So,
it's more of like an opening welcome.
but it's like, but if you can practice, if people can practice that principle, right? And in there, can you practice that in a relationship? Yeah, you can love her, you can be in love with her.
we're
She can be in
different
love with
forms
you.
of love we're
Yeah,
talking
she
about
can
here.
be in love with you, and you can love her. Y'all can be in love, but that don't mean come February you're not in love anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, you can fall
Love
in
is
love.
a practice.
You can fall in love tomorrow. You can fall in love the first time you meet somebody.
There
right?
it is.
But does it stay
Is
that
it
way?
sustainable?
The only way it stays that way is
work.
Yeah, you got to continue to foster that relationship. You got to continue to do the work.
That's the same with recovery too.
Yeah, Franklin always says love is an action word.
Yeah.
I love it when he says that.
It is, because just think about, if do you love your job, right? Do you love your career, right? If you love it, you got to do the work to continue. Same thing with this relationship, right? So yeah, can you be in love right now? Yeah, you can be in love.
I'm not asking me. I asked you, how long does it take to be in love? I'm not, because I don't. You don't know where my status is with love. First of all, sir, I'm just asking you as a like what you think right now. I want an honest answer. Let me see. Can I get the answer from Olav? Olav, how long does it take to fall in love?
1 second.
I think I have.
How long do you think?
I love your honesty.
How long do you think? How long do you think it takes to fall out of love?
Now there's a time frame.
Imagine, do you remember not to glamorize it, but the first time you shot dope, right? Wasn't that like instant?
1
like
second,
that was love.
God, I love it. Man.
No, not the first time, but maybe like the second, third time. I think it was at your mom's house too, bro.
That's bad. Oh man, and then like falling out.
I don't know if it was so much of a love as a more like a fear, like, oh my God, I'm too high. Oh shit, I messed up now. But then afterwards, there might have been like some kind of warm, blankety feeling. Love, I don't know, but definitely lust.
Yeah, and that's what comes hard in these relationships, right? Because it was instant gratification. It felt so good, right? I loved it, so I started chasing it more, wanting more and more, right? And so now we're clean. We're not chasing that get high feeling. So now we meet this wonderful woman. I meet Kelly, and like the feeling I had the first time I met her, I wanted more, and I wanted more, and I wanted more.
So it was love at first sight for you.
I believe,
just be honest.
I believe so.
In your head, did you think that, like, I love her?
I did. Well, what made me think this with her is I walk into a meeting, right? So this is a 12-step meeting, and she's sitting in a chair, and there's a chair on the other side of her, and I walk across her, and I say, "Excuse me, is somebody sitting in that chair?" And she was like, "No, Jesse." And I was like, oh, I never even seen her. I didn't know how she knew my name. So like that right there, like got me.
You fell in love.
How the hell does she know my name? Like,
Half a second, bro.
Yeah, like how this beautiful chick knows my name, right? How the hell? And so I sat down in the chair, and the whole time I'm on my phone, right? And I was on my phone. I was writing. My friend was getting married. I was writing. I had to do the
vows.
Yeah, the best man speech. Okay. So I was writing it, sitting in the thing, and she was like, all I remember is the whole time you were on your phone during the meeting. And I was like, yeah, but I had a reason I was doing this. But
that's funny you should say that, because she said that the whole time you were driving the other day you were on your phone. So like some things never change. So it took Jesse half a second to fall in love, but to continue the love. And how long you been married now? Now you better know this answer if you want to stay in love.
3 years.
To stay in love for 3 years took some work. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, to stay in love definitely.
But you fell in love.
Any relationship
at first sight.
Yeah, any
relationship you have takes work. Right. Man, the relationship I got with you takes work, man. Like
it ain't that much.
The relationship I got with Olav, it takes work. If I want to foster,
I'd agree with that. The relationship I have with Olav takes work, and you too. It takes work. It takes work.
Any I'm saying that you have to put work in. Now, look, if you don't put the work in, then the relationship's not going to be as good or as strong.
Yeah.
Right?
Not
and if you look at it, if you put that into recovery, right? Everybody listening to what we're talking
about.
Here it comes. Look, if you don't put the work in, like the recovery's not going to, it's not going to bloom. It's not going to foster. Like you can't just sit here like Olav, Travis, me, Steve. We don't just sit here and all of a sudden by osmosis we've recovered, right? It just doesn't work like that. Like you got to do some work. You actually got to put the pedal to the metal,
to the pedal, the pedal to the metal. What is it? Yeah, it's probably more like the pedal to the plastic now. But yeah, where the rubber meets the road, you got to do something.
Yeah, you got to do the work, and the more you put in, the more you get back, right? And that's the same with any relationship, right? The more I give to Kelly, the more I put into our relationship, the more I put into my family, the more they give it back. They might not get it back the way I want it, but it gets back. The more I put into my relationships here at work, the more I get back. The more time I put in here to McShin, the more I'm going to get back. It might not be the way I want it all the time, but work is important. Really is. Olav, I want to go back to you because you're the single guy in the room. Steve's married. I'm married. Travis thinks he's getting married soon and having a kid.
Might be one on the way already.
Yeah, right.
So you'll dog my shout out, but you'll put that right on out there, won't you?
I was just joking. Wait, is that true?
No, of course not.
Olav's single and he's practicing like what he's heard people share with him, man. Like how does that? How's the single life, man? How is like working on you?
Like you were just saying, I got to put all that work in to myself to show myself that love. So it's tireless, man. It's
what was that mean?
I don't even have time for like a relationship. I stay busy. I work out, I play, pickleball. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of breathing work. I do a lot of, holistic practice stuff with like Hertz frequencies and fasting, and all that stuff takes a lot of time out of me. Like, and I don't feel like I'm wasting the time because I'm gaining so much from it.
But you're not closed off to the idea of relationship. If someone were to smack you right in the face.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying like there haven't been people that have come and gone, but like I've just never
found the right one.
No, I haven't invested in it. Like they did usually the opposite part. Like the female would always want a relationship, and it was like something that I kind of, I guess, put up barriers for
boundaries.
Healthy boundaries. And every time that I did that, I found that the answers I was getting back was that if you have this boundary up, then you don't care about me. And it was like, not at all. It's that I care so much about myself and I want to be authentic. And so I'm upfront. Because I remember all three of us were riding in a car one day, and something got brought up with me being single. I think Travis might have been single at the time, and it was like you were like, you got to be honest with these people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he was telling me about a little story or something,
right? And so like, and that resonated with me because it was like, I don't think that I was being dishonest to an extent, but I wasn't being completely forthright and authentic.
You were telling me the story. You don't remember, Trav?
Hold on, bro.
We won't tell the story on.
Let's tell the story. I mean, let's tell the story. We're being honest. I mean, we were being dishonest, bro. Like,
Well, so and maybe a little bit, right? But I guess what was more dishonest was that I didn't tell them how I really felt, right? It wasn't so much the the picture that I was painting. It was more so that
well, yeah, we were painting pictures. I mean, like, we're painting pictures about like our current status.
right.
It's like,
So that
Don't
kind
worry.
of bugged me a little
Good.
bit, you know, and then it was not only that. Once I started to dissect it, it was like, well, what am I even painting aside from what I think I know that I'm painting to them that I'm unaware of?
Yeah.
yeah.
Olav, you know what's funny is let me tell you something, Steve. Travis was over. You don't even know. I heard this. You might know. Travis was over my house the other day, and like there was a bunch of family over, and it was my sister, and they're like, "Oh, you work at McShin? What do you do there?" And Travis, like, "Oh, I'm Jesse's boss." He didn't tell you that, yeah. And my sister was like, "Really? Wow."
That's awesome.
And so I just kept walking. I just like I didn't even say nothing. Let him get his little thing.
I meant metaphorically. I didn't mean like I'm your employer. I just meant like I'm the boss of you.
And my little sister, because I haven't talked, he was like, "So he hasn't told you none of this?" She's like, "No, yeah, I didn't even
I
know
mean,
y'all
she
both
is
work there."
totally uninformed, bro.
He's like, "Yeah,
You need to call your little sister, boy. She's like,
this dude right here, right?" But that's what Olaf was doing to
Yeah.
this person he met.
yeah, he wasn't
So,
in a recovery house. He owned the recovery.
He was the owner and operator
Oh,
of
Well,
the,
and
the
that's another
recovery.
thing when you live in housing and you're dating someone, right, or you're seeing somebody, and at the time I was a house leader, right, so I had all these obligations that like were contingent on me being able to live there, right?
Oh,
And
this
not-
sounds good.
Well, I mean, it's true, and
Yeah.
so like I had to prioritize stuff because it's like if you're on a date and someone's calling me because there's a crisis going on at the house, I've got to answer that phone every time. You know, I fought for a while to not have a phone when I was at McShin when I first got here. I didn't want one. Like I just wanted to be removed.
you just wanted your birth certificate.
Yeah.
Passport, passport. Yeah. But then like so I'm answering the calls and I'm like, hey, I gotta go. I gotta get the check and you know I gotta drop you off or you know whatever. And it was like the end. And it's like what's going on here? You know, what is the deal?
I'm running a recovery house.
Well, you know, I don't know if I said it like that,
Own one.
but it was not, you know, being honest.
But
And
all
so-
off with all that stuff being said, it's like a ball of energy of just like everything you were looking for in a woman, and it just hit you like uncontrollably. Because like what you're explaining is maybe just haven't felt that energetic connection yet to be like, whoa, wait a minute here. Just like Jesse felt when Kelly said his name, it was like a ball of energy. He knew. I just seen his facial expression. He can talk all that crap about like, you know, it takes a long time in the process, but he basically just self-admitted that it was love at first sight, damn near. And so like, are you saying like you're impervious to that because of your
no,
I feel like he's talking to us, right? But he's talking to somebody
the
else.
kids, the kids,
He just like wants them to
the
know.
people who bring him you
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Listen, babe, it was love at first sight.
there you go. Yeah.
Just tell him. Listen, babe, you don't gotta say her name.
I believe
It
in
was
love
love
at first sight. I mean, I'm talking about like when energy hits, it hits. Like we can't control
This
energy.
is the hit though, Trav. Like you gotta believe it's
That
love
was the hit.
Yeah. You gotta believe it's love at first sight when you get in that big first blow up, right? And like it's like, you know, like she does something, you do something, and it's like
I never do anything.
man, let me
You
tell you,
talking about a
man.
fight?
Yeah, like the bit, like
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
like a legit,
Alright.
because it's gonna happen, right? I remember me and Kelly, we because we've gotten in a couple, you know, we've been through some tragedy together, right? You know, I'm some legit tragedy, and like we've gotten in some fights, man. And I remember like, you know, calling, you know, my sponsor again. I'm talking to him about it, and he's like, you know, look, man, no matter what, that's why I love this is. And I'm gonna tell you, it goes back to that word. He was like, no matter what you do, Jess, he was like, you can decide to stay right here in this relationship, or you can leave. You know, you can end the relationship, but guess what you're gonna have to do no matter what you do? You still gonna have to do the work. If you choose to go get with somebody else, guess what you got to do, Jess? You still got to work on you.
Start all over.
Yep. If you want to stay in this relationship, which I hope that you do, you still got to do the work. And I was like, man, well, I know I love her, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's all you got to continue to do the work. The same thing with recovery. Man, you have so many people that'll come up in the rooms, right? And they'll get mad, you know, they'll get mad at somebody. I don't like that person, so this program's not working. Like you know, they come to McShin, they'll get mad. Oh man, I can't have my phone, right? Or, you know, something happens, they get mad, right? and then they decide to go somewhere else. But guess what they got to do there? They still got to follow the rules
Start all
and do
over,
the work.
yeah.
Still got to do the work, right? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's what you got to
Yeah, you got to dig in. I like that because that can translate like to your job, to your relationship, to recovery. I love that you got to keep digging in because like you're not always gonna like feel right. It's not gonna always be comfortable. It can be a fight to stick in there. Sometimes it can feel stagnant, like this is more of the same. But like I found that just like I'm gonna get off recovery. I mean relationships for a minute into recovery, like if you just put in like just like and from my perception it would be like minimal work because I'm always like, oh, I'm not doing enough or reading enough. But when I put in that little bit of work, when something is popped out at you at 3D and it's something that can clean up a character defect or at least get you on the process of cleaning up some behavior, and you're like, man, that didn't take much at all. It took me reading a little bit, getting a little bit of knowledge and going through it with like another person that's been through it before. And like the growth that can spark just from minimal work. Just think about putting a lot of work. Like I love that what you're saying.
Yeah,
about
they
that.
told Trav, something I learned early on about that. They said, Jesse, if you put half the zeal into recovery that you did chasing, in your addiction, right? Just half of it. If you just put half of it, right? You'll recover, right? You just gotta put half of it. And I was like, wow, man, that's some good stuff, right? Just put half the effort.
Yeah, just something.
And you do that, man. Like it almost becomes addictive, right? You just want to keep chasing it and doing it and doing it.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a personal growth or just like
I gotta use the
oh, whoa. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Just
You
because
can't do that.
because you think you're his boss doesn't.
I am your boss. Sit down.
Sit down.